Folks, Senator Richard Burr will weigh in leading into Danielle Henninger, who we'll talk to in a second. I want you to hear what Burr said, and then we'll ask Danielle Henninger about it. Al Sharpton is planning possible protests outside the Academy Awards because not enough, or I think maybe no, black actors were nominated for Academy Awards. You know, why don't you just threaten them? Maybe they'll make a contribution. I mean, it's insane. The world has gone sick and insane. All right, now here's Senator Burr. Watch.
But when you look around the world, whether it's in Yemen, whether it's in Syria, whether it's in Iraq, whether it's in Afghanistan or in North Africa with Boko Haram, we've got terrorist elements that are carrying out terrorist acts. And if you put that collection together, what you've got is a war on Western civilization. It really doesn't matter which terrorist group we insert into the blank. The commitment is that they're out to kill innocent people. And whether it happens in Paris or London or New York, we've got to collectively do our best to make sure that we thwart those attacks.
All right, Senator Burr obviously gets it, and so does Danielle Henninger, Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter, deputy editorial page director of the Wall Street Journal. Hello, Daniel.
Hi, Steve.
Good to talk to you. Your piece, Terror Comes and Goes Again, really right on target, and I think you're kind of, in agreement with the senator.
I am. I think that we have got a moment that has arrived here with the Charlie Hebdo massacres in Paris, 12 people murdered. Every life is precious, as we like to say, but, Boko Haram, as the senator was suggesting, just swept through several villages in northern Nigeria, destroying the villages and virtually everyone in them. And I might cite one other thing. The leader of Boko Haram, the senator cited this as an assault on civilization, and I think this point cannot be emphasized enough. The leader of Boko Haram last week, in announcing that he was about to invade Cameroon, said, quote, "Democracy is blasphemy." Think about that. Yeah. Democracy is blasphemy. And that is what these fundamentalists believe, whether it is them or ISIS in Iraq and Syria, or those who are now operating throughout Europe, and I have no doubt eventually in the United States. It's not just merely that they think individuals are infidels, they think the entire system is illegitimate. So this is a force that is not going to stop.
Well, Daniel, that brings this point up, which I've been making for quite some time. All right, so the Pope says you got to watch what you say or you get slapped in the face. The president says we believe in free speech, but Pat Buchanan says you say something about someone's mother, you expect to get hit. So they're all saying, hey, you got to watch what you say or expect the consequences. None of them are condoning the violence, obviously. They make that clear. However, as I've said to a couple of guests who agree with that point, including Pat Buchanan, so what if we acquiesce and then they say, hey, you know what? We don't like women in politics. And unless you get rid of every one of your women in Congress, and if you let a woman run for president, you ain't seen no blood yet. What are we going to do then? Are we going to then say, we can't offend them. We better get the women out? I mean, where does it stop?
Well, it won't stop there, that's for sure. I mean, I think you're exactly right. I think these folks are really comparing apples and oranges. Look, radical fundamentalist Islam is the only organized religion in the world that, when it is upset at what people are saying about it, goes out and kills them, right? Nobody else does that, okay? And so, Islam, it may well be the case that the great majority of Muslims do not condone this sort of thing, but I think the religion itself needs to undertake the sort of reformation that Christianity went through several centuries ago, which is to say, find a way to accommodate itself to the modern world. Because if it cannot, the modern world ultimately is going to have to crack back. And that's why I mentioned this moment. I think the French, the British, certainly David Cameron, and Angela Merkel at this point are willing to take action. The raid on the terrorist in Belgium today suggests that the Europeans understand they have to become more aggressive. The outlier here remains the individual sitting in the White House of the United States. And
well, he releases prisoners from terrorists from Gitmo last night,
right.
while other countries in Europe raid places looking for terrorists.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at the message that sends not merely to our allies in Western Europe, but as I wrote this week, any such strategy that we're going to undertake has to be carried out by the national security bureaucracies of these countries. Right?
Absolutely. Daniel, we're out of time, unfortunately, but you're absolutely right. So on target. Thank you very much, as always. We look forward to talking to you next time, sir.
All right, good to talk to you, Steve.
Take care. Daniel Henninger, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, John Gizzi will join us.